Shalom and welcome to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. This is Meditation and Mindfulness with Rabbi Adam Kligfeld.
It's another one of these weeks that is over-ish. We can take a breath. We take a breath when we light candles in a few hours, like in an hour. I feel like sundown is like just a few minutes after noon. We wake up in the morning and like it's almost time for Shabbos. And we take a breath in this meditative way, just in a deeper, more intentional, more active, more focused way. Sometimes the rituals that we do that are supposed to be liminal and transitional, like Shabbat candles, do their trick. And sometimes the moments just happen, which is why putting in these extra opportunities to reconnect our bodies to our breath and reconnect our minds to kind of who we want to be and how we want to live are significant. I'll give a brief intro into the meditation. I want all this to be really in the meditation. The brief intro into the meditation is actually a preview into a teaching that Rabbi Schatz are going to be doing tomorrow on the Zoom at the shul. And it's focused on the fact that Parshat Miketz plays a really interesting game between two Hebrew roots that are not etymologically connected, but they're alliterative. And you have to believe that the Torah is asking us, Vayaker, that he knew them. This is Joseph's knowing the brothers, even though Hem lo hikiruhu, they did not know him. And because he wanted to trick them, we have the verb lehit vayitnaker. He made himself to be like a stranger, nochri. And the root for stranger, nun kafresh, nochri, is not the same root as the root to know, lahakir, but they sound the same. Vayaker, vayitnaker. You hear it in the end of those words, as if the Torah is asking us to consider how close the notion of being known and being a stranger really are. We think of them as opposites, but in some situations, they're really quite close to one another, particularly when one person has the knowledge that someone else lacks. There can be both awareness and utter lack of awareness or strangeness in the same moment. And I want us to meditate about that a little bit, specifically in terms of how we are seen and how we are known and what it feels like when someone thinks of you as a stranger and what it feels like when someone really sees you. So that's how we're going to get into it. Excuse me. If you haven't yet, I'd like you to close your eyes. Drink into this moment as if you've just checked into the most luxurious spa resort on the planet. And you have. It's called your own mind. It costs nothing. And the service is excellent. And it's always accessible. And as your lungs fill with air, as they always do, but as you're watching them fill with air, feeling them fill with air, and you start connecting with your beautiful and miraculous body, taking breath in with an intentional act, as if you're giving yourself a gift, which you are. Whatever feeling suffuses your body right now, accept it. You can be curious about it, but just embrace it. Is it a lovely heaviness that makes you feel like you're underneath the most cozy of blankets? Is it a tingling with your body telling you, here I am? Is it an ethereality, a lightness that has you hovering and floating? Is it all of it? Now I want you to do two things simultaneously that are contradictory. I want you to listen to my voice and take in the words that I say and allow your mind to go on the journey that you can't possibly know yet what it will look like. and respond to the words or images that I'm saying, and be focused with everything else shunted to the periphery as insignificant for this moment. And then at the same time, I want you to feel untethered, even to me and my voice. Sometimes in a guided meditation, the voice can be a background soundtrack. You don't feel any weighty obligation to stay on that track. If you want to, I invite you to. And you can also float and stray and go to nothingness. We all know the feeling of being a stranger. Some people live their lives as strangers. But we all are nochri, different, other, stranger at times. Unrecognized. Unseen. I want you to conjure a moment, a real one, not a fantastical one. Recent or ancient history, where you felt like a nochri, a stranger. Either you were not seen or you were not accepted for who you are. Where did you feel it in your body? What did you feel towards the person or persons that looked at you this way? I want you to imagine you're in that moment. Whatever kind of moment it might be for you, where you are a nochri, you are a stranger. If you were completely unedited and not held back by protocol or politeness, and you could say anything that you wanted, that you needed to say to the person or the persons who were taking you in as a stranger, what would you say to them? Using the very capable minds that we have, I want you to hear yourself say to that person or say to those persons what you need to say in that moment. What do you want them to know? What about your experience of being a nochri in their presence? Must they know? Hear your own voice saying it to them, calmly, firmly, forthrightly, confidently. Now we travel to another reverie, a place where we are known. Vayakir otam, he knew them, he saw them, he recognized them. I want you to go to a moment that actually happened, recent or not, where you could not have felt more known, seen, recognized, accepted for who you fully are. What a feeling. You, with no asterisks or qualifiers. You fully held and seen. How do you feel that in your body? What does it feel like to be truly beheld, almost the way you imagine God might see us? No filters or lenses. Just with a unqualified embrace. In real life, outside of a meditation, when we are fully seen, it can be a burst of tremendous joy. Sometimes we also don't want to sustain it. It's too much, too exposed, too held. But in a meditation, it can go on. And so I want you to enjoy, with no cost to you, to your standing, to anything about your actual relationships, just bask in being known and seen. And for the last step, I invite you to fantasize about who else you would put into that picture, who does not yet fully see you, but whom you really want to. Who do you desire to be amongst those who, when you are in their presence, you feel seen, recognized, known, embraced? And what does it feel like to add them to that picture, even if when we open our eyes, they won't be there yet in reality? Vayakireim, and he really knew them. Vayithnaker, and he would not permit himself to be known. He made himself to be a stranger. To be known and to be seen. To be hidden and to be a stranger. Opposites. And so often right next to one another. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I'll put onto the screen our closing prayer, which we'll say together 3 times. May we and all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. And may we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all. May we and all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. And may we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all. May we and all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. May we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all. I say to you all, Namaste, and Shalom, and Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the last few hours of Hanukkah, and I miss you, and I love you, and I hope to see you soon.
You have been listening to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. If you enjoy these podcasts, we invite you to write a review on the Apple Podcast site or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Temple Beth Am Los Angeles, go to tbala.org.